A rarely used model of home ownership called Commonhold could be the solution to the problem of people buying flats and falling into the trap of expensive leaseholds. At the moment, the vast majority of flats and new builds sold in the UK are covered by the leasehold model, but the Law Commission wants that to change. And it follows growing criticism of the leasehold model, which has been described by one MP as the PPI scandal of the property sector. Our reporter Claire Worden has been looking into the proposals. So Claire, what's the problem at the moment?
Well, people who buy houses or flats using a leasehold model own the property for a certain amount of time, often a very long period, say 999 years. The owner owns the property for that time period, and when it's over, ownership returns to the leaseholder, who's like a landlord for the whole building or development. Leasehold properties can work out cheaper, but you're liable to pay for things like ground rent and have to go through the leaseholder when you want to make changes and maintain the property. The criticism in recent years is that those costs have been unfair. You and Yours has covered many cases of people who've bought new homes with leaseholds that have a doubling ground rent, leaving them with massive bills and properties which are effectively unsaleable. It affects people who've bought flats as well. Roger Robinson ended up owing £8,000 in ground rent on his leasehold flat at a development called Blythe Court in Warwickshire.
It's been a huge strain. Two previous owners of number 7 Blythe Court have also been affected by it, and they felt the need to quickly put it back at auction and sell the property so as not to kind of have to pay that debt. Our viewpoint was actually we need to stop this circle from going around and around and around, and if we can save another family going through what we did, it needs to end, and it needs to end somewhere. And if it means us going through the stress that we're going through just in order to make things right, then we're willing to do it. I mean, we're not asking for the world, we're just asking for real, plain, simple, honest terms in this lease.
So what does the Law Commission want to do about this?
Well, they want to change the balance so people who buy flats and new builds have more rights and control over where they live. Professor Nick Hopkins is from the Law Commission. He says the best way to do that is using the Commonhold model. It's something that's widely used in the US, Australia and the EU, and he explained to me the key differences.
So a lease is a wasting asset. From the moment you buy your flat as a lease, the clock is ticking down, and you have a relationship with a landlord, so that there's a relationship of them and us. And a lot of leaseholders have told us they don't feel that they have the control that they expected to have as a homeowner. They also have to pay ground rent to their landlord. In Commonhold, you have the freehold of your flat, so no wasting asset. You are in control of the building yourselves because you all belong to a company that runs the building, and you don't pay a ground rent. So it's very much a relationship of us and ourselves.
That sounds much better, doesn't it? But this isn't new legislation, is it?
No, you can already sell flats and new homes using the Commonhold system, but very few developers are choosing to do so. The law which makes this possible came into effect back in 2004, but since then only 20 developments have been made and sold under the system the professor was just talking about. There are a couple of reasons it's not proving very popular. Some banks and building societies have been unwilling to lend on properties being sold under the Commonhold system. The Law Commission found that only 30% would give mortgages for this kind of property, something which will need to change if they are going to become more popular. Another issue is the perception from home builders that Commonhold ownership would deprive them of revenue being collected through things like ground rents and maintenance contracts currently coming into them under the leasehold model. Here's Professor Hopkins again.
We think that one of the problems is the law isn't as flexible as it needs to be. So we are making proposals to make the law work better. For example, to make it easier to build complex mixed developments using Commonhold, and to help existing leaseholders to convert their lease into Commonhold.
Claire, thank you. And the consultation into potential law changes to enhance this Commonhold model opens today, and you can have your say by visiting the Law Commission's website.